Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on May 23rd, 2013. I'll just go ahead and try to go through each portion of the show. Just starting out with the beginning of the show with a promo between Sting, Hulk Hogan, eventually Brooke Hogan, and Bully Ray. Honestly, I felt that entire segment just came off a little bit weird. Just on the sense of you had Hogan taking all the blame, then you had Sting taking all the blame, then you had Brooke Hogan taking all the blame, then you had Bully Ray taking all the blame for everything that was going down with Aces and Eights and everything that was going down with the company at that point in time. And then of course Bully Ray still going off and saying, oh, he still loves Brooke, all that kind of aspect. It made it seem that they are going into a direction where maybe Brooke's going to turn on Hogan and Sting or something in that sense, and join Bully Ray as husband and wife for Aces and Eights. Who knows where they're actually going to go with that? Let's see if they actually are going to go anywhere with that in general. The Triple Threat X Division match with Joey Ryan, P.D. Williams, and Suicide. It was a pretty good Triple Threat X Division match. You pretty much figured with Suicide returning that they were going to put him over, and then eventually lead him into the Slammiversary Triple Threat match. And of course, that's where they went. But all in all, a pretty good match. Let's see. Also, it looked like they were going to go to the next person for the next match for the Gut Check tournament to see who would go on the Slammiversary. You had Shaw come out initially, and then that eventually brought out Aces and Eights with Wes Briscoe, of course, who was also with Gut Check, saying, "Hey, we took out Silva in the back and everything on that aspect, and started taking out Sam Shaw." Which eventually led to Magnus coming out, which led to a decent match between Magnus and Wes Briscoe. Of course, they would end in disqualification. I thought this was also led into Samoa Joe coming in, which I felt this was a good way of getting Samoa Joe back in there. It's nice to see that they're having Samoa Joe and Magnus team up again for at least the time being. They were a really good tag team back in the day. They had some really good matches and really good feuds with the tag team titles, so hopefully they'll have them teaming up against Aces and Eights or something in that aspect here for the foreseeable future. I definitely not liking that segment as well. The James Storm segment, you had multiple James Storm segments throughout the show. You had initially like Chris Sabin trying to be his tag partner, and then of course leading into him coming out there to actually try to name a tag partner. Of course, you got Bobby Roode and Austin Aries to come out there. Bobby Roode did his spiel about the tag team and what they had done in the past, and of course Christopher Daniels and Kazarian came out. They did their little spiel, which led into what came off as really weird, but yet still somewhat funny, with the whole other people trying to convince them that they should be the tag partner for James Storm. First, you had Shark Boy come out and start doing his new bit his bit that he come up with many years ago, where he was kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he replaces everything with like fish terms and everything in that aspect. That came off really funny, which also brought out Robbie E. He started naming off different tag team names, which was pretty hilarious. I liked how they ended it with the return of Gunner. Basically, it's been a long time since they had Gunner in there in any way, shape, or form. It was good to see him come back. I did enjoy his ring work back in the day. So hopefully this will just lead into just adding one more piece to the puzzle to what should be a very fun Fatal 4-Way tag team match at the pay-per-view. And it should be an enjoyable match to watch, at least in my own personal opinion. The Knockouts title with Velvet Sky and Mickie James. It was a pretty decent match again. Thought that they came off with a I feel like they came off in a good spot with the match, especially with it making it look like maybe this is the beginning of a heel turn for Mickie James, with the whole, actually using the knee injury to pick up the knee injury for Velvet Sky to pick up the victory and everything in that aspect. So hopefully this feud will continue on. It looks like this is turning into a potential heel turn for Mickie James, which is a good thing. She always played a good heel back in the day. So she's pretty much only been face ever since coming into Impact Wrestling to begin with. So we'll see where they go with it and see what else they come about with it as well. This one brings me to the Mr. Anderson-Kurt Angle match. Honestly, they've always put on good matches. Tonight's no different. You have the little twist in there about, it being aces and eights now with Mr. Anderson and of course Kurt Angle trying to get rid of aces and eights. So you had that storyline going in there. Of course, the bit for AJ potentially going into aces and eights, and also leading into their match at the pay-per-view. I liked how AJ caused the distraction to Kurt Angle to make him lose the match, making it look like he was going to join aces and eights, which leads into the actual final part of the show, which was supposed to be the whole patching in of AJ Styles, the aces and eights. It looked like it was going to go. It looked like it was going to go that way. They, pretty much been teasing it all night, and they continually teased everything going into the actual segment itself. And you were almost waiting for the moment. It's like, okay, he's just not going to put on the jacket, he's going to turn on all of them. But no, Kurt Angle comes out, he puts on the jacket, looks like he's going to join aces and eights. Even for like another 2 to 3 minutes after all this aspect went in there, he even put a little bit more of a hurt into Kurt Angle, threw him out of the ring, and it looked like he was going to stay a full member. They posed to one side, then they posed to the other, and what I really liked was just the aspect of AJ making the turn at that point and saying no, he's not joining aces and eights, hits 3 guys with the hammer, ducks out. I like the aspect that they're keeping AJ as, he's almost like the lone gunner type character at this point. He doesn't really have allies on any side. He's pretty much against everybody on TNA. He's against everybody in aces and eights. So it definitely came off really good throughout that entire segment. Just giving more to that character of saying he is pretty much the lone gunsman at this point, and he's basically going to do everything on his own. He has no allies, regardless of who they're affiliated with. So overall, I felt the Impact Wrestling show this week was a pretty good show. You had some decent build going into the Slammiversary pay-per-view here in a few weeks. All in all, I think that they did a really good job again this week of producing the show, and like I said before, building into the pay-per-view. So that's my review for TNA Impact Wrestling this week. But I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.